G'day trendsetters, today I'm coming to you from Firefly Bicycles, which is in a suburb of Boston, Massachusetts. I've arranged to have a tour of the facility, and let's kick it off by walking through the front door. That right there is Kevin. He is going to show us through the fine facilities here at Firefly Bicycles.
Welcome. Every bike that we make is custom, so that means custom geometry, custom fit, custom finish, custom tubing, components. Everything from the ground up is custom. So it starts with a custom fit. About half of our customers will come here in person during the lead time to do a fitting here. The rest will work through the fit process remotely. But when they come here for a fitting, we use our fit bike to dial in their position. We'll start them in a position they're familiar with, and then play with adjustments based on their body proportions, based on their mobility, their goals for the bike. Play with things like saddle choice, crank length, handlebar width, every variable to make sure the fit works well for them. And then once the fit is dialed in, we'll translate that into a custom frame geometry. The custom frame geometry happens here. So we use BikeCAD, same as most builders use, but we use this to translate a fit into a frame design. So when you take someone's fit, the fit is just contact points. From that fit, you can design all sorts of bikes that ride in different ways. You can make a road bike that fits like that. You can make a gravel bike, everything in between. And so what we do is we take that fit and then we create a geometry that will be comfortable and well balanced for the type of riding that they want to do, whether it's road riding, gravel riding, fast riding, recreational riding, touring, everything in between.
Of the bikes you're making nowadays, what would be the number one type of bike you're building?
It's a pretty even split between road and gravel at this point, yeah. And we do a road plus model that's sort of halfway in between road with a little bit of extra tire clearance. That's definitely popular because it's sort of a do-it-all option for people. So once I have a frame geometry set and the bike is ready for production, we will put that bike into production here. So every bike starts on this side of the shop and then goes through to the back. We start with all raw materials, raw titanium tubing. We get straight gauge titanium tubing that comes in 8-foot lengths, and we do all of the machining from that point. So Jamie will start the process. He'll take the raw materials, he'll cut the tubing to about the right length, butt the tubing, collect all the small parts, dropouts, cable guides, every other little piece we need to make the bike, and then go through and do all the machining from there. We use a number of 3D printed parts, 3D printed dropouts. This is our UDH disc brake dropout, 3D printed chainstay yoke, which we use for tire and chainring clearance on gravel bikes. And then on our titanium forks, we use 3D printed crowns and dropouts as well. So he'll pull all of the small parts he needs for each individual bike to make sure we have what we need to build, and then do all of the machining step by step for each bike, one at a time. All right, so Jamie is about to butt a down tube?
Top tube.
Top tube. A top tube for this bike. So we externally butt the tubing. Externally butting the tubing gives us the ability to custom butt tubing for each individual frame. We can do it on this CNC lathe. So Jamie has this programmed with the tube's outer diameter and then the butt profile he wants. And so he'll hit go, and this tube will run through and butt the tubing custom for this rider. The liquid is just a cooling liquid, and then there's a blade that machines material off from the outside. It machines it off in one piece, so it comes off as one long strand of tie as he's butting. So after the tubing is all butted, Jamie miters the tubing on these horizontal mills. So we have basically 3 identical horizontal mills. They're Nichols mills from 40, 50, 60 years ago. And they're all set up for specific cuts. So this one is set up just for chainstays. This one's set up for main triangle tubing. And this one is set up for seat stays. So Jamie, after the tubing is bent and shaped as it needs to be, Jamie will install the tubing in the fixture, put on the right hole saw to match whatever the tube it's joining against is, and then push the whole bed into the hole saw to miter it to make the correct frame geometry. So we have our build sheets configured so that it has the cut length, the angle, everything Jamie needs to set up this fixture, and then he'll go through and miter it as needed. So after the tubing is butted and mitered and everything is shaped, Jamie fits it in the frame fixture. This is set to the rider's geometry. So head tube angle, seat tube angle, chainstay length, bottom bracket drop, exactly as it should be built. And then once everything fits nice and tight with no gaps between the tubes, Jamie will tack weld the frame here. So he welds it just enough to hold it together, takes it out of the fixture, and then Tyler we'll do all of the welding from that point on. So after Jamie tack welds the frame, he'll put it in the alignment table, and Tyler takes over from there. So first step in welding is to see how straight the frame is coming out of the frame fixture. Welding adds heat to a frame, heat distorts metal, and so Tyler can use the welding process to pull the frame into alignment. There's very little you can do once a tie frame is welded to bend it and to realign it if it's not straight. So Tyler has to be very careful as he's welding it to make sure that it's perfectly straight throughout. So he'll check the alignment before he welds, he'll check the alignment as he's welding, and then he'll check it at the end in each of the possible dimensions to make sure that it's perfectly straight.
Tyler has a lot of pressure. No pressure.
A lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, but not in my gravel tires.
Low pressure. Dude, that is the #1 fault of gravel cyclists. Too much pressure.
You got to keep the pressure low.
100%. Roadie pressures are not good. Moving on.
Tyler's welding one of our forks here, but if you come around this side, you can see this is an old Merlin head badge. Tyler's been welding tie frames for, what, 30 years?
Yep.
So tens of thousands of tie frames have come through this exact welding stand in Tyler's hands.
The number of standards Tyler has seen has probably been impressive. I remember
Too much.
the original Merlin press fit bottom bracket, for example.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very small diameter though.
Yeah, they were the same tubing that made the 1-inch head tube made the 1-inch bottom bracket, because there wasn't much tubing available at the time.
All right, yeah, so Tyler is welding one of our tie forks right now. The dropouts and crown are 3D printed, and then we custom shape the fork blades and weld it all together. And then after it's fully welded and aligned, we bond in a carbon steer tube. So we have road forks, road plus fork, which is road plus little tire clearance, and then gravel forks. And this allows us to do custom offsets, custom finishes, custom geometries, custom fork options. So this fork off to the side has rack mounts and fender mounts, and then internal routing for dynamo lighting. So this frame is fully welded. The only step left on this one before finishing is bonding in a C-tube insert and then slotting the C-tube. But fully welded, this is what the frame looks like before any finish work has been done. So this is a gravel frame that has our 3D printed chainstay yoke and our UDH dropouts. And once the C-tube insert is bonded in, you could build a bike up and ride it, and it would be perfectly functional, but just wouldn't have any custom finish on it. So next step is that we create a custom finish and then build it up. All right, so we do a lot of custom finish work to really set our bikes apart. So custom finishes here can be any combination of raw titanium finishes, brushed, bead blasted, polished, roughly brushed. And then the sort of secret sauce is anodizing. So Paul is about to anodize a stem. He's gonna, so far he's laid down a mask that's this brushed topo pattern, and then he's gonna anodize, I think, a blue river on it. So anodization is a process where we're basically applying a thin layer of titanium oxide to the component or the frame. The titanium oxide is clear, but because it refracts light, we get different colors. And so by varying the voltage and the time that the anode is applied, we get different colors. So thinner colors are bronze, purple, blue, and then as he builds up the color, or builds up the layer of oxide, you get into higher voltage, brighter colors. So this stem will be finished to match the frame, seat post, fork, all of the titanium accessories that'll go with this bike.
I don't want to overlap anything here.
This is the frame and fork that go with the stem that Paul's anodizing right now. So you can see similar masking on the fork, on the front and back of the frame. And then the down tube has the splatter anode pattern. So splatter anode is 2 overlapping fades with this splattered pattern in between. And so what we do is we apply the pattern to a big section of the tube, lay a mask of the logo on top of it, remove the color around the mask, and then you peel up the mask and you're left with just the splatter anodized graphic as the final piece. Last step is assembly. We do mostly full builds here. We'll do some frame sets when requested, but a lot of times and when we can, we'll do the full builds here so we can ship a customer bike that's ready to ride. So Scott's working on this gravel build with full fenders and a nice rear rack. It's got a SRAM, mix of SRAM red and force axis so we could get these small subcompact chain rings on there. Build it up, photograph it complete, pack it up with as little disassembly as possible, and then ship it to the customer to enjoy. All right, so last step is we photograph the bike or the frame set in our photo studio. We do this for every single bike that we make. We take pictures of the process of building it, and then we take photos once it's done so that each customer has a record of the bike's creation, whether or not they can visit in person. They get to see the whole process of building it and then the finished product once it's done. And then once it's photographed, we pack it up and ship it to them. Yeah, well, thanks for coming along on this tour. If you want to learn more about us, fireflybicycles.com is our website, at Firefly Bicycles on social media. We have lots of photos on the internet. Our Flickr page, we post photos of every bike we make there. So if you want to waste some time at work, flickr.com/fireflybicycles, and you'll have hours of entertainment. And yeah, talk to you soon.
So there you have it, trendsetters, my tour of Firefly Bicycles headquarters. I sincerely hope you enjoyed tagging along, and many thanks to Kevin and the crew for their time. You can expect similar factory tour videos coming in the future. Be sure to watch this space. As always, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel for interesting videos such as this one. No bull gravel bike reviews, other product reviews, ride experience videos, and of course, general madness. Alright then, as all of it is released to the channel, I'll see you in the next video.